Hi, and welcome to CoupleTales.life, the colorful shades of grey. Right since we were kids, we were always taught that when you're wronged, the one thing that you can do is forgive the person who's wronged you, because that makes you a bigger person. Now, it's such a mental conditioning which is passed on for generations that somewhere it becomes like a process. It's very automatic, that we say, okay, you've wronged, you'll hurt a little bit, and then you'll forgive the person. But the main question which a subscriber has written to us, and thank you for writing and showering us with all your love, is that do you really forgive? How do you know within yourself that I have truly forgiven the person whom we think has wronged us? And that is what we are going to discover, and through our discussion discover what really comes out. So Geetu, when we say that, I forgive you, is it really something that we are doing it from the inside, or is it because today it's become, like I said, it's become a set pattern that I should be doing this to become a bigger person? What do you think about this?
It's a very interesting topic. It's a very vast topic. But the way you started it, where you said it's a condition, it's actually a very, very good thing that we are taught. The thing is that you also called it a process. Now, has it become an unconscious process of forgiving? Because then it cannot happen. Because the main point in forgiveness actually is that the question that one needs to ask is that, do you think that you're being magnanimous in forgiving the other? Because I've read about it, and forgiveness is a very beautiful act which should come from within to be done for yourself.
Oh.
Yes, because the person who has hurt you, has done whatever, for whatever reason, that person is going to face the consequences.
Correct. Yeah.
The why you need to forgive and why you need to say I'm doing it for yourself is because you're freeing yourself.
But does it even strike us, Geetu? Because the whole act of forgiveness, when we say, is you've wronged me, and now you're probably apologetic about it or whatever. So I forgive because I'm closing the chapter. So I don't think it strikes any one of us to say that I'm doing it for my own self.
Exactly. That's why I am saying that change that perception. Forgiveness is done because I want to free myself of this.
Okay.
Right? Now this is sounding very philosophical, etc. But like the subscriber asked, she said, when is it that I will know I have forgiven? So, so one of the things is, there is no particular feeling which will tell you, wow, you have forgiven. It's not like a moment of joy or liberation or freedom. It's not something like that you experience. The interesting part is that I want to touch upon over here is, how do you forgive? Because that makes this episode practical. Okay?
Correct.
Because okay, I forgive. What do you mean I forgive? Is basically you have not forgiven, but andar ke andar aap ghute ja rahe ho. No, but I can't tell him what I have done because I have forgiven him, but it's not forgiving. It's not. It's this martyrdom that a lot of people behave in that manner is not forgiving. Okay.
Correct.
So basically, forgiving is. It was a very interesting thing that I had read, which is that forgiving is about holding the other person accountable. Because yes, the truth is that they may have hurt you, of course.
True.
But now the magic and the whole process is about, if you get an opportunity to actually talk to that person, okay, then how are you going to have this communication? One of the things is, typically, what would you do is you would want that person to take accountability, right? Because
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
What you do.
Yeah.
That you've hurt me, this is how I felt. The way, and this was a very, very interesting line that I had read somewhere, is when you actually make anybody accountable for something that they have done to you, you cannot come from a place of blame.
I was just about to say.
Judgment,
Yeah.
of accusation, of reasoning, of logic. It has to be very pure. What do I mean by see, you have hurt me, Vivek, okay? And then I will tell you, Vivek, you know what? I felt very bad. You know why I felt bad? Because why did you do that to me? You shouldn't have done that to me. That behavior of yours was really bad and I don't approve of it. Versus, Vivek, I just want to tell you that, you know, this behavior of yours has really hurt me. And I wish that we can improve on it. And if you just understand what about me is, you know, that we can just change a little bit.
Correct.
It's not like I'm not open to what you are saying, but maybe, you know, this part is what upset me a little bit. Do you think we can talk about it?
It's actually a more, you know, when you say accountability, honestly, the former came to my mind. Because you invariably land up saying, you hurt me and this is what you've done wrong. You've actually still held me accountable in the second method.
But what I've done is that when in the first method, I've held you accountable, but I have cornered the person.
Yes.
I have made the person feel pressurized. I have made the person feel it is only your fault and the defenses have come up. So it's not something that you will solve. Okay. So like I always say that it takes two to tango. Yes, in that situation for which you're seeking forgiveness, or you're asking or you're forgiving somebody, it's still something that you have also done, because tali to do hath se hi bachti. But the thing is that forgiveness is a very, very beautiful concept if used properly. If they're alive, you can have a chat with them. Now say if that person who's hurt you is not alive, okay, and you have to forgive that person, are you going to then say that because I can't have this conversation with that person, so now I can't forgive? No, that's not what this is about. Forgiveness, forgiveness is something that like today, that conditioning that we use, the word is about I need to forgive, I should forgive. Till you don't choose to forgive, till you don't want to forgive, it's not going to be it's not going to be possible.
Correct.
Because, you know, then you'll you'll say, you know what, Vivek, you spoke to me like this, I've forgiven you. The next time you speak to me, and you'll realize that you've not forgiven, because those are the moments where you actually understand whether you've forgiven that person
or not,
not forgiven that person. For me, like I always give examples of my life. You know, there was a time when there was a very challenging thing that happened in my life with Devu, and it was amazing, because what I realized was that I could have very easily told him that, you know, this is your fault, and it would have been justified. Okay, it would have completely justified me saying it is your fault, go and correct. I don't know. I was much younger. This was the, you know, beginning of the marriages, when small challenges look like now they look like a cakewalk. so at that time, I remember, I don't know what happened to me, and in that conversation, the only thing that in that moment I told him was, you know what, you've done this, but I think I'm responsible somewhere for it.
Wow.
And the minute I said that, it was very empowering for me, because then the decision was not about a blame game, it was not about playing a victim card, it was not about running away. The only thing that I told him is, okay, you know what, I'm responsible for this. This is where I feel it's my responsibility. So you know what, I want to now change that which has made this situation possible. So let me just change those 3 things and let's see where it goes. It was magical. I didn't have to ask Devu to change. I was very honest with myself. I was very honest with the situation. I just said that, you know what, because you know what, it's very easy to tell somebody you've made a mistake, and I think what comes out of it, I don't know. For everyone, it's very, very different.
Yeah.
For me, actually, like I said, it empowered me because I felt if this is a mistake and if I don't want it to be repeated, what is it that I can do?
You're not creating that situation again.
And I didn't really have to understand, oh, I have forgiven. My life, my relationship, everything that changed, was one very big thing was that I didn't use it as a card every time. Right? Because that's what you do. So it's very interesting, forgiveness, but like I said, it's a very vast topic, Vivek.
Correct, but Geetu, what also comes across from this for when it comes to forgiveness is it's something that you've articulated before. It takes two to tango. In this case, I get a very strong sense that you also want that relationship. You're also invested in it. So whether it is a spouse or a friend or whatever, if you're invested in it, then you will make that effort. So that's why forgiveness would come more naturally if you're invested in that relationship.
Yes, and it will be an easier choice. That's what I said. Don't turn into a martyr.
Yeah.
And this I am the bigger person. You're not doing it for that person.
Yeah.
And that is the choice you have to make.
Yeah.
That do I want to carry this grudge to my grave? Like for me, I'm very clear. And it is very, very unique how you would forgive, how I would forgive.
Yes.
Very unique. So you have to figure this out. But what I want to leave in this episode is that forgiveness is a choice you have to make.
Correct.
For your own self.
Yeah.
And in that, when you communicate, then it's not about the other person. It becomes about how do I find my peace.
Correct.
In that, you also learn to say, is this such a big thing where I need to forgive? Am I oversensitive that everything hurts me? So, then, like I always say, it's so much easier starting to work from yourself than to change others. And that's what I will keep repeating, that, start with yourself. And this nowhere does it mean that the person has not hurt you or, done something to you. But just make it about you first. And then, even when you talk to the person, it's magical because, you have taken responsibility, and that by itself creates a lot of magic.
Sure. That's a great perspective, Geetu. And I think, as we always say, be selfish, not self-centered.
Yes.
And that's a perspective I think that we're bringing to the table, and that's a starting point because life is really not fair, as Bill Gates said. So there will be instances where you'll hurt each other, and forgiveness therefore becomes a part of it.
It's actually, we look at it as life is not fair versus I look at it as these situations are the growth spurts.
Yeah.
This is where I grow. So, just to take it a little bit forward, they have this subscriber also wrote that you forgive but you can't forget. You know what? Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. It is okay to not forget. The magic is in what do you do with the not forgetting. In the not forgetting, if you're vindictive, if you want revenge, if you want that person to pay, it's a different ballgame. Then you are nowhere close to even the concept of forgiveness. But in that not forgetting, if you have learned, if you have said, this is my thing, this is where I went wrong, this is where he went wrong, the next time when something like this happens, I will be aware, I will bring that memory back and say, you know what, this is what I did wrong. Now that same not forgetting becomes an amazing concept, right? So I think to just judge a line, to just judge words as positive and negative, in my heart it doesn't sit well. I don't judge that. I always say, go to a point where you're constantly redefining, because that's also being very respectful to your growth. If you're going to grow as a person and stick to the old definitions, there's going to be a conflict in how do I move forward, right? Then
Totally,
the path is going to be very, very,
very
difficult.
tricky. Yeah,
so
very,
this is about making it easy, right? So I forgive all of you. That's all that I would say. I'm just joking.
Thank you so much for writing to us, and do like, share, subscribe to our channel coupletales.life, the colorful shades of grey, and do click on the bell icon so that you know all about our future episodes. This is Vivek Kapoor.
This is Geetu Purkayastha telling you to please leave a nice, a bad, a critical and a comment which can improve the show so we can interact with you a lot more. Don't forget to leave a query or write to us, because a lot of people we've discovered want this to be anonymous, and it is very, very respected. Anonymous to the point that if it is written to me, none of these people, Vivek doesn't know the name, and when it is written to Vivek, I don't know. We respect the anonymity. Please reach out.
Thank you.
Thank you.